Unpopular opinion time. Dragon Ball Z, which in my opinion is still the greatest anime I've ever made, and I will say this: Dragon Ball Super was a disappointment. It was still good, but it was a disappointment. And I still feel like Ultra Instinct was an asshole. And there was moments that I just rolled my eyes because I don't know. There was great moments in Tournament of Power, and then there was just I don't know. Jiren was not an interesting character. Kefla sucks, and the only reason why people like her is because she's a girl Saiyan, or you're a pedo. But she's a girl Saiyan with. She's I don't know. She's just really unlikable. And then when she uses with Kale, which Kale is okay, and Kefla, and I'm just like, ugh. It's just like, oh, tingling feeling. I almost forgot about that. Tingling feeling just ruined Super Saiyan for me. Yeah, you could just go Super Saiyan with the tingling feeling. Gohan used to be my favorite character. But Goku Black arc, still the best arc in Dragon Ball Super. And the first two seasons of Dragon Ball Super weren't really that good. And this is coming from a die-hard Dragon Ball fan. The animation and I don't know. And the big one is this one, Dragon Ball GT. I feel like Dragon Ball GT is underrated, and it's just, I don't know. Dragon Ball Z, you know, coming off from a sequel to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, people thought, oh, it's going to even step it up even more. Well, the first arc, the Grand Tour arc, like the first 16, 17 episodes weren't really that good. But as soon as Baby showed up, it got pretty good. But it had character development, and it wasn't just like, I know Vegeta wasn't in there for that much, but he had some character development, and it's more than, oh, I gotta be Kakarot. He's like, he was gonna try to take over Goku's place as the savior of the world and stuff. And I feel like for Dragon Ball Z, unpopular opinion, I feel like the Garlic Jr. saga was underrated because it's not all about Goku, because people complain, oh, it's all about Goku and Vegeta, and then we get this arc, and then people are complaining, oh, where's Goku, or whatever. I'm like, man, I hate to say it, but some of the Dragon Ball fans are almost as bad as Star Wars fans, and that's pretty bad. But, like Goku, I don't know, I feel like Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin had their little arc in the Garlic Jr., which I know the movie isn't canon. In unpopular opinion, Dead Zone is probably the best Dragon Ball movie. And my least favorite one, unpopular opinion alert, Wrath of the Dragon, because I just found it really boring, and I didn't care about Tapion, or the villain is forgettable. And the Broly movies are good but overrated. And Broly is still the most overrated anime character in my opinion ever. Sure, they made him a little bit better in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. He's a little more likable, but he still doesn't really have that much of a personality. And an unpopular opinion, I cannot stand the sub version of Dragon Ball Z and GT and Super. Goku's sub voice, Japanese voice acting, it just sounds like a whiny. It just sounds like a whiny, high pitched person, and they dumbed down Goku and Super so much. It made GT Goku look smart, and he was turned back into a kid, and he was still mature than Super Goku. And Dragon Ball, there's not much opinion I have that's unpopular. I will say the fighting is definitely better than Super's, and all four of these series have pretty good fighting. I mean, the first two arcs of Dragon Ball Super were not good, and the first arc of GT was not good, but all the arcs for the other two series are really good. Season 4 of Dragon Ball being my favorite, and I really, really wish they would release Dragon Ball on Blu-ray, GT on Blu-ray, the Dragon Ball movies on Blu-ray, not Dragon Ball Z, but like the Dragon Ball movies, because I have them all. I have the Blood Rupees to the Broly movie. And I cannot stand Dragon Ball Z Kai's new voice actors for Bulma and Gohan. I was about to say Goten. No, it's the same actor. They're just too high pitched, whiny, and plus I don't like the voice actor for Bulma for obvious reasons. But I don't know. They replaced all the Ginyu voice. I got used to the Super voice for Frieza. I still will go with Linda Young as Frieza. Even the Ocean dub version of Frieza was pretty good, and the first arc, the Sand arc for DBZ. I grew up watching the 96 to 98 Ocean dub, and then they redid it with Funimation, but they stopped doing the Ocean dub for America during the Frieza saga, so they had like voice changes. I prefer the Ocean dub version of Zarbon. I feel like the music was better in the Sand Saga compared to the Sand Saga of the Ocean dub compared to the Funimation, because they didn't use Bruce Falconer, which is easily the best music. GT just had like the same tracks, like three different tracks the whole entire time. But Dragon Ball had the Japanese music they didn't have, which is fine, which was really good. But I just prefer Bruce Falconer over any of those. But I feel like the power levels are bullshit now. Like, especially after like DBZ and Super. Especially in Super. Like, how the heck is Android 17 as strong as he is? But and I don't know if I already said this, but the Tournament of Power kind of disappointed me. Some parts I really liked, and then some parts I'm just scratching my head in disappointment. Like, I don't want to sound like one of those whiny fanboys, but Super was kind of a disappointment. I like Super a lot, but is Super really that much better than GT? Is it? The recolored Super Saiyan God colors? Is it really that reused plot points from Dragon Ball Z? Is it really that much better? Dragon Ball GT at least had Baby's arc, and they had the Shenron. They're different. Sure, they had the Android 17 arc, which kind of felt it was too short, and they brought back another villain, and they brought back every villain, but it was like disappointment because they only showed them for a minute and then they get killed. But it was still pretty cool to see them. And I don't know, I just prefer the English dub versions of any anime. Really, 90% of the time I'm gonna have to listen to it in English dub. It's not because I can't read, it's because of the high-pitched voice acting, and their acting. What I was saying about the voice acting was, I just can't get with the because sub Goku's voice is just irritating. I mean, like, the rest of them do a pretty good job, especially like the sub voice actor for Vegeta. But I just can't. I know might seem disrespectful because she's been voice acting Goku for 30 years, over like 35 years, I think. Because Dragon Ball came out in 1986, the anime did, but it's been around since '84.